So, as promised, not only the Winks, but the Walla wide awake and ready to join us on Weigh In this morning. And with many thanks, Chris, thanks for joining us. Sheldon Murtha, Bruce Sherwin and Michael Guerin chatting to you just briefly for the next 5 or 10 minutes or so. Is it true you've been up since 4 a.m. just overlooking the great mare? And can you give us some feedback on how she pulled up from another emphatic win yesterday?
No, not quite true, but we've been up for a little while and got reports from the stables that she's pulled up very well. And yeah, I think that's what's so unique about Winks. She not only puts in race day, but fortunately I don't think she's using 100%, and therefore she's coming home with a bit of energy left, and the next morning you can see it, she's bright as a button again.
With the weight of expectation, Chris, do you ever get to enjoy these big days?
It's a good question. To be truthful, not really. You certainly don't enjoy the build-up to the race, and the race when it's on itself is quite something different when you're just hoping that last 100 metres that she really kicks in and that extra speed's there. Post-race, it's a relief straight away, and almost a number of these, you just do get caught up a little bit in the emotions of the win, of course, and then they've got so many responsibilities to follow on, from interviews through to quick chat with the owners, and she's even now got so many fans, and you've got to put on a face for everyone to appreciate all their support, which you do, but at the same time not get too far ahead of yourself.
Chris, what's the pathway to the 4th Cox Plate for you and the Mighty Mare?
Pathway for me, and is just take one race at a time. And we spelled it out very clear at the end of the autumn that there's no plan of a Cox Plate. It's simply one race at a time, and if that Cox Plate happens to be one of those races, well, so be it. And I think what everybody's got to understand is she's done more than enough. She's on, wouldn't say borrowed time, she's still on the peak of her power. Yeah, she's got nothing more to prove, and we'll just take one run at a time, and next one will most likely be the Turnbull. There's still options in Sydney, but with horses there's always a risk of travel, so I'd like to get her down there sooner rather than later. So probably the Turnbull, and then on to the Cox Plate, all being well.
On that, Chris, she's got freakish ability and she really pushes the limits. Her soundness has been phenomenal right the way through, hasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly has. She's never had a cortisone injection, which is just unheard of for an athlete, let alone a horse. And touch wood, that's been the biggest asset for sure. And yeah, she's just amazing, and to go for this long and have 27 wins in a row, and you know better than anybody the preparation that goes in for a horse for one race, its first race, let alone its 27th in a winning streak. Plus you've got to remember she's had other races before that, so yeah, it's quite something to prepare a horse and have the horse stand up for so long. Legs, body, mind, yet it's still in check and going as well as ever, if not as good, if not perhaps a bit better than ever.
So, Chris, possibly a bit of a layman's question to finish off. Are you over the fear of perhaps losing with her now?
Yeah, we've built ourselves up to be beaten, I guess probably 6th or 7th run into the winning sequence. Each race day I don't go there expecting to win. It would be hard to believe for people watching her because she wins every time. But we go to the races saying, okay, well, today may be the day, and you've got to respect the opposition, you've got to respect sport. Quite often it's the bounce of the ball and luck and running. With punters, you'll know you need everything to go your way, but with this horse, she just overcomes getting behind at half time, or the bounce going against your way, or distances, tracks, you name it. She just gets around them and away she goes.
Chris, you're lucky enough to have another great mare in the stable and Unforgotten. Suggestions this week from you that the Caulfield Cup not as likely as the Epsom. How do you keep her fresh enough to be running 1600 at that level, but get her fit enough to win with a horse like Unforgotten, who we know can extend out to the 2-4?
Yeah, Yeah, just not overtraining, I think, is the main thing, and that's the easy part. Training, and that's my main reason for not being too worried about the Caulfield Cup. Caulfield Cup's a pretty tough race, and the preparation towards it is intense. She's already won over the trip, but that was with a 3-year-old, and that 3-year-old against their own age group, they can often beat their own peers. But racing against the older horses is pretty tough. So I think it was the making of Winx's career when she only had 3 races in her spring 4-year-old year. She had a pretty intense 3-year-old year. She only had the 3 runs, which was the Theo Marks, the Epsom, and then the Cox Plate. And I dead set believe that was the making of her. So I think we need to over-race Unforgotten, just place her well. And I think she'll be there for a few years to come as well, because she really is a talented horse.
Chris, I have to apologise to you. I tipped the Autumn Sun last week as a stinking moral when we all saw what happened to him. He's obviously very, very good. Chris, how good is he? And do you go the Golden Rose and then into the Caulfield Guineas? Are both those things doable?
Most likely. The one thing I'll say, he's not a furnished horse yet. It's very hard for an unfurnished horse to win against the best in Australia, so that's what he'll be doing next week in the Golden Rose. Especially the likes of Lean Mean Machine. No doubt Bruce has got a big smile on his face, and rightly so, because he's a talent in his own right. So, yeah, it's a decision we haven't finalised yet. We'll make a decision Tuesday morning whether the Autumn Sun runs. But he'll definitely be there for the Caulfield Guineas, and he'd be our main hope for the Caulfield Guineas at this stage.